It's Cannabis News once again. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's May 23rd, 2019. We do it 5 days a week for the Marijuana Times. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab for this show. Check out the great articles there as well. A lot of great writers, great issues, great content. marijuanatimes.org. Today we're talking about an attempt at adult use legalization in Delaware. Also a new report that compares Michigan's possible recreational market to the one that exists in Colorado right now, as far as size and scope and things of that nature. Also, how hotels are adapting to marijuana legalization and the liberalization, if you will, of marijuana laws around the country. Before we get to all of that, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all natural pesticides. Go check them out. Grow safe and poison-free. Don't use harmful chemicals on what you are growing. Don't use banned pesticides. Be regulatory compliant in the state that you are growing in. All of these things can be accomplished with Natureside. They're an awesome sponsor of Cannabis News. They're awesome all around. Go check them out, nature-side.com. This first story from marijuanatimes.org and Julia Granowitz. Lawmakers in Delaware reintroduced cannabis legalization bill. This would be House Bill 110, is getting a second chance this year. If passed, it would legalize possession, consumption, and sale of cannabis for adults 21 and older. It would not impact the state's medical marijuana industry. The medical dispensaries would have the option to apply for recreational licenses. Main sponsor, Representative Ed Osinski, a Democrat from Newark, said, quote, "There is a market for safe and legal marijuana in Delaware." Oh, yeah, it's everywhere. Which will have numerous benefits for our state. We would be establishing a new industry that would create good-paying jobs for Delawareans. That doesn't roll off the tongue. I'm sorry, people of Delaware. Delawareans, while striking a blow against the marijuana black market. The attempt excludes home growing for recreational consumers because they believe it would fuel the black market for people being able to grow some plants at home, which if they're growing plants at home for the black market, they're already doing so. Why they would start doing so under legalization, I don't know. And if they did, who cares? I'm not going to get into the same rant I do all the time. It's, it's so not a big deal. But again, it goes back to that having to restrict and regulate marijuana like it's some dangerous substance and account for the seed to sale and every bud and where it goes and who's using it and how they use it and are they smoking it? God forbid, are they smoking it? Holy crap! Is it an edible? Is it vaporized? Is there a serial number for it? Can I follow its tracking like an Amazon package? It's ridiculous. But it's, an attempt in the Northeast, where, as we've talked about in the last few episodes, things are not going the smoothest. It's not the smoothest amount of progress when it comes to marijuana law reform and adult use legalization attempts in various states. DetroitNews.com is where this next story comes from. Whoops. Almost put up the wrong graphic, but I didn't. Caught it. Smooth segue. Professional, even, maybe. Report, Michigan's recreational pot market to rival Colorado's. Michigan's recreational market is expected to rival that of Colorado and Nevada by 2023, according to a recent report. The West Coast, where legal marijuana businesses got its start, will be surpassed by the large states in the Midwest and along the East Coast as they expand medical and recreational access. There's at least, according to an industry analysis by Chicago-based Brightfield Group, CBD and cannabis market research firm. We're seeing a shift from the West Coast to the East Coast, said Kay Temilo, Brightfield's research director. Approximately 3% of Michigan residents hold a medical marijuana card, which is a higher rate than many other medical markets. Brightfield predicts between 2020 and 2023, the state's recreational market could triple in size and grow its share of the U.S. market by more than 3% to $650 million. Again, a lot of conjecture, obviously, but Michigan is a heavily populated state, and much like, you got to turn off the phone. You got to turn off the phone. You know what? I'm not even going to record. I'm not even going to re-record that. I'm not going to re-record that. I could re-record that and act like that wasn't my bad, but it is my bad. Full transparency here. Most of the time I remember to turn off the phone, but that time I didn't. It's fine. We'll leave it in. I'm not going to cut it out in post-production. None of that stuff. None of the smoke and mirrors. When I screw up, I say so, and I talk about it for a minute or two afterwards. Anyway, Michigan is going to be a large marijuana market, again, with the natural caveat if the government there does not screw it up royally. Then it has the potential to be a bigger market than, say, Nevada or Oregon or, what was the other one? Colorado. See, again, professional, moving along, transitioning beautifully. It's a well-oiled machine. That's the phrase that most people use when they talk about this show. Well-oiled machine. Last story from Leafly. Was I a little too sarcastic with that? I don't know. I think it was just the right amount of sarcasm. In most cannabis states, according to Leafly, consumption is allowed only in private residences. Cannabis enthusiasts are prohibited by local laws from consuming in public. So what are hotels doing specifically to adapt to cannabis legalization? We've talked a lot about, social consumption areas and places and things like that. They mentioned a few here in this Leafly piece. Like in Colorado, the legislature recently approved a measure that would allow marijuana hospitality spaces where cannabis can be consumed. It also permitted retail cannabis stores to create similar consumption spaces. Of course, in Nevada earlier this month, the Las Vegas City Council voted to approve Nevada's first marijuana consumption lounges, which will offer safe locations for tourists and residents to partake in cannabis. In Massachusetts, the state's Cannabis Control Commission has green-lighted a pilot program. Green-lighted? It's not green-lit. I would have swore it was green-lit, but it's green-lighted? All right. A pilot program for adult use. Social consumption establishments. There are already a variety of independent 420-friendly hotels and resorts in legal states and across Canada. You see a lot of that with the Airbnbs as well. It's where people can stretch out and light up without fear of prosecution. But experts say that until cannabis is legalized under U.S. federal law, the nation's mainstream hospitality industry, places like Wyndham, Marriott, Hilton, and Best Western, will continue to tread carefully when it comes to marijuana. And a lot of those big companies are also going to wait to see kind of what the demand is for these spaces. Obviously, as I said before, because of prohibition, we don't have decades upon decades of consumer research and trends to go back and look at. What am I doing here? There we go. Man, it's just, no matter how much I try to get it back on track, it veers off again. Anyway, mainstream hotels are going to wait to see what the demand is. There are no consumer trends. They don't know what the demand for this kind of thing is. They're going to have to wait and see. And they'll be able to see that with, these smaller hotels and the Airbnbs and how many cities allow for safe consumption areas and such. And I imagine also, if you want, places like Best Western or Wyndham, you can contact their customer service and say, hey, you should have a place where I can use marijuana or whatever. And I'm sure they'll file it away somewhere. I don't know how they, what they do with those things. But the way to see what the demand is, and once federal law allows a little more leeway, you may see some of these big companies allowing, either certain rooms would be smoking rooms, away from people who don't want to smell the odor, outdoor patios, things of that nature. As long as the government is not excessive in its regulations and restrictions, the market will figure it out. There will be a constant push towards equilibrium when it comes to the right amount of spaces where people can use cannabis. But will the government allow that to happen? No. Will they restrict it a lot? Yes. Will it be many, many years for a place where you can light up a joint in like a Hilton? Yeah, maybe forever. Maybe even, maybe there's never even a time where you can go out on the balcony and do so. I don't know. This is going to be slow progress, especially considering the slow progress on a federal level when it comes to legalization. Again, I hate to beat the, the proverbial dead horse here, but U.S. House of Representatives, it's almost June. One bill passed one committee. That's it. And that, by the way, is a bill that now has like 100, almost 200 sponsors. You only need 218 to pass a bill. It has almost 200 sponsors. They'll vote for it, I'm assuming. So you almost got 200 votes right there, out of the bag. And yet, we have nothing. Nothing. Pete Sessions is gone. Jeff Sessions is gone. Trump doesn't seem to care. He's got his own problems. Democrats control the House, the committees. What are we waiting for? What are we doing? Oh, I know. We're worried about Trump impeachment and various other shenanigans and immigration. Okay, fine. Doesn't take that much. Marijuana banking bill. Most of the House Democrats support it. Put it on the floor. Vote for it. It passes. Good. Move on to something else. Start bringing up some things in committees. Start voting on some stuff. I mean, I understand it's not as, it's not up there with nuclear war, but it's still an important issue. Economically, socially, politically, whatever. Am I just a voice in the wilderness? I think not. But I'll continue to yell 5 days a week here at marijuanatimes.org. Subscribe to us. Search Marijuana Times on YouTube and Vimeo and Apple Podcasts for the audio-only version of the show. Thanks for watching and listening today. Keep sharing and liking and commenting, spreading the truth about cannabis with this show. It helps this show grow and helps us reach more people with the disjointed ranting and information gathering and giving that I do here all the time. People are missing this. Can you believe that? People are missing this right now. They have no idea I'm here. That's a shame, really. Really sad. There are people who don't know I'm here doing this. That's crazy. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening to Cannabis News. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Thank you to Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Thank you all for watching and listening today, and we'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.